Caddo Parish Commission work session for January 19th to order. Roll call, please.
Dominic, Johnson, Jackson, Lynn, Bowman, Cawthorn, Watts, Middleton, Atkins, Chavez, Smith, Epperson. We have a quorum, Mr. President.
Okay, I get Commissioner Jackson to do the invocation and Commissioner Chavez to do the Pledge of Allegiance. Please stand.
Bow your heads, all hearts and minds be at peace and be clear with each other. Dear Lord, we come to you thanking you for another day and another day together. Lord, we thank you for life, health, and strength. We thank you, Lord, for placing us here in this place to make decisions, and we hope that the decisions that you make in this meeting would be what you would have it to be. Lord, please bless the decisions that we make. Bless the individuals who will make these decisions. Bless the citizens for whom these decisions will affect. These and many other blessings we ask. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Guys, please place your right hand over your heart. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
In the name of Joyce.
Next item.
This time the commission will convene into executive session. Motion and a second.
Commissioner Epperson.
We don't have to vote on that, do we? Okay. Where did we get a motion and a second?
I move that we move into executive session.
Second.
Move the second to go into executive session. Commissioner Epperson.
I would state that I'd like for us to leave all of our communication devices out of this meeting. There have been meetings previously in executive session that things have leaked out basically verbatim. And if we all would realize that in executive session, everything that is discussed there stays there. Thank you.
Okay. Commissioner Jackson.
I just wanted to ask if we didn't mind. I know now that you probably have them, but if we had any citizens' comments or public comment, that I guess I would offer a substitute motion to suspend the rules to do public comment first, then go into executive session.
Second.
Got a substitute motion to suspend the rules to bring the citizen comments before executive session.
Right.
Anybody on the board for that substitute?
Only if we have some citizens' comments.
I don't have any.
Okay, but if not, then no work.
All right, so
I
it's that because we don't have any.
Okay.
I'd like to speak for
Let's see.
Put your name on the board.
Middleton, he's next.
I'm up.
Yes, Commissioner.
Okay, I don't know that we will have justification as to why we have to go into this. Since taxpayer dollars are being used to defend this, I think taxpayers should have a right to know what's going on. I'm sure I'll be outvoted as far as going into it, but I just want to let everyone know that some of us ran on transparency, and this is not transparency when we immediately go into this. As a follow-up to that, I asked if this could be suspended to the latter part of the meeting, so John Q. citizens and folks that don't have to be a part of that, they go on about their life, and I think that's the right way to treat our people.
Commissioner Dominic.
I make a motion that we move this item to the bottom of the agenda.
Second.
I can speak on that.
Then move. Well, we can't have a substitute and another substitute.
No,
Yeah, I withdrew mine.
you can't.
He withdrew his.
Okay, so, all right, so we got a substitute motion to move the executive session to the bottom of the agenda. And it's been seconded. Anybody on the board to talk about this?
I'm the maker of I was thinking the same thing you were, Mr. Milton, that we're going to go into executive session. It may be 5 minutes, it may be an hour, but we got some other items that I would like to, I think we need to get addressed in the public, and then we can go take that at the very end. If anybody wishes to stay, you know, they can stay and listen to that. I would ask that y'all support that motion. I don't know why it has to be at the first. I would just move it to the end.
Okay, anybody else on the board for that substitute motion? Matthew.
My only question would be to legal is that the reason why we're going into executive session, does it address anything that's on the agenda that we would need to know pertinent information before we actually voted on something today?
That was
so
And the answer to that question is most likely yes.
Then that's a
That's
different
why we
story.
requested that the president and the clerk put it at the beginning.
Well,
There was a reason for it.
that's about.
Okay, Commissioner Bowman, you on the board for
That was the exact question that Commissioner Lynn asked that I wanted to ask.
Okay.
Well, so with that being said, I respect.
Board for that?
That was my question also.
Okay, so the answer to the question is there is possibly something that's in the executive session that will affect what we do later on today. So, let's vote on the,
Can I get who the second one was?
second was,
Okay, I just want to be sure.
let's vote on the substitute motion to move it down.
Yes.
Bowman. That failed. Now, the original motion is to go into executive session now. Let's vote on that.
Mr. Jackson?
Atkins, Bowman, Chavez, Jackson.
Now?
That's 11-1.
I
Now,
would
in the
yes.
executive session, there would be the administrator, the parish attorney, the assistant parish attorney, the lawyer that's representing us, assistant parish administrator, the HR and finance director, the clerk, and the assistant clerk, and all the commissioners, and everyone else will please be excused.
Chairman, if I may reemphasize, I'd like for all of us to give our communication devices to Ms. Michelle Pate.
You gonna do it in here, Commissioner?
Yes, we're gonna do
Okay.
executive session.
And of course, they're gonna have the cameras and everything.
Yeah, they will.
Be more than 30 minutes then, if you want to come back in. What's your pleasure?
It's Waller.
Come back Thursday?
Next cell phone?
Mule it over there for you?
Your cell phone?
I'll agree to it.
You have to give them to Michelle.
Okay. Hey, I can't live without my phone.
I know you can't.
You really want to be clever. Nobody knew you had two.
That was,
You
had to vote yes.
Supposed to
No,
be
you don't ever have to vote yes.
Hell,
You didn't want to clear the room, huh?
Do whatever you want to do.
Supposed to be your iPads too now.
yeah, we didn't talk about it.
They all kept their iPads.
That was all right.
Thank you.
Interesting.
Yeah, then it'll go to what they do now.
That's where it came out, when he came down to 15.
And it's gonna go in effect until 16, so you just need the $500 back before it.
Yeah. Hey, so Erica, as I understand it, if they want this thing to change, they got to vote in 2019.
Oh, I haven't seen it. Oh, there you go.
Phones back, is that what it is? It's like, was it break time?
So I mean, technically, they can still get the cost of the road stuff. They got to vote in 2 years and a half to get the next board. Right.
How you doing?
Hanging in there.
Hanging in there.
Commission wise? Oh, yeah. Right.
That's exactly
Right. That's true. That's true. That's true. That's right. Right, that's true. Because now we can process.
We're trying to touch it. I don't know, did we take a break?
I'll bring it up. I'll give you a break.
Ask me to get that to you. Zell, you out there?
That negates.
Oh, right there, Zell.
Years where you got to think the
Well, you do the right thing in the process.
Right. Like Atkins was saying, what happened in 2013? Okay, all right,
What
okay.
would end up happening?
Okay, all right, okay.
It might be
Huh?
We're paying for legal advice or what? Acting, oh yeah. Well, that's,
That might have. But that was very interesting though, how that unfolded. I'm thinking they won't probably want that.
Pretty good show. We couldn't hear the audio, but the video was pretty dramatic.
Ran over until the fact. Didn't say that no more.
He was practicing his courthouse skills.
What video?
that one.
Oh man, we got.
He was practicing his courthouse skills for when he has to come to Bend.
Kevin,
Just watch for the actors on the Peter Pan players coming up.
Well, you know, superseding government is kind of like, you know,
video recording.
No. No, Charles and Dodge were out of the room.
What's he talking about?
these people wait long enough. Let's go.
That should have been black.
You have a baseball game?
No, I'm sure.
Okay.
Look at Steven Jackson. Hey, take a picture.
I'm innocent.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm sorry. I didn't know who was saying it there for a minute.
I guess officially we have to vote to go back into.
That's correct. We have a
I didn't
motion
call
by
it,
Mr.
Woody, I'm
Lynn,
sorry.
a second by Mr.
You
Jackson.
knew about it.
That's right. So let's cast our votes now since the
Didn't
system
make
is
it.
back up.
Goes back into session?
Yes.
Back in session.
Commissioner Smith.
They're both out of the room.
Oh, okay. That passed 10-0 to go back into work session. Next item,
Next, we move to agenda additions,
I have none.
and we'll move to citizen comments.
We have none.
Now we move to, no visitors, we move to reports, administration report.
Dr. Wilson.
So, President Johnson, we did have a couple of things on the agenda for the day. Ms. Hennessy had another appointment, so she had to leave. And Mr. Wells did not show up from the Sports Commission to give you an update, so we don't have a report for you today.
Can he come back?
Yes, sir.
Not Thursday, but
Yes, sir, the next work
next
session.
work session?
Yes, sir, we'll get him back.
For both of them. Next item,
Next, we move to communications committee reports.
Commissioner Epperson.
Got him.
Yes, sir, Mr. President. I don't know if the emails were in service for all the new commissioners. I had corresponded to all of you over the weekend. I had gotten the information from Mr. Schlectermeyer. Did I pronounce it right?
Yes, sir.
The IT director, that they were in place. So I don't know if you all had received the emails from me. However, I would like to acknowledge at this time that I will be a candidate for Vice President of the Caddo Parish Commission for the year of 2016. I also put in your box a hard copy of a letter noting of my intent for that candidacy, as well as I gave you a copy of an annual report, I think from 1995, to give you a little history as to where we were at that point in time and where we are today. Also, there's another annual report of 2011 that I'd like to give you a copy of for you to peruse it. And once again, as I stated in my hard copy as well as my email to you, that if there's anything that I can do to be of service to you and enlighten you relative to what has transpired since I've been here since 1991 up to the present time, please feel free to call me at any time, day or night, and I listed my phone numbers, both cell and home, and email addresses. Thank you.
Okay. Commissioner Watts.
Thank you, Mr. President. I just wanted to give some emphasis on the event that we attended in Baton Rouge for the Police Jury Association of Louisiana for the orientation for the newly elected officials. The signs were there that it was going to be a great event when all of the hotels were booked in the area because there were so many people trying to get there. And the very first thing that the Police Jury Association Executive Board mentioned was that they welcomed us and said that it was the very first time that they have had that many members at an event for newly elected orientation officials for the Police Jury Association. Mr. Ken is one of the at-large members, and he represented Caddo Parish really well. I love the fact that they started out by telling us to coming into a place of somewhere where we think that we're going, that we know everything and we know nothing. So it was good, informative, educational. We learned some things that we could definitely use in our communities and better our own districts here. Our Attorney General, Jeff Landry, was there, and Tom Scheller was there. We had our mandated ethics training, and it was just an overall a great event. And I wish that more of Caddo Parish members could have been there. Thank you.
Mr. Jackson.
I just wanted to make a quick announcement. We are in the Affordable Care Act enrollment period, and so just wanted to make a general announcement. There will be, I'll make the announcement again on Thursday, that there will be an enrollment blitz taking place with Christus Health, and as you know, Louisiana just expanded Medicaid, and I think that's going to be a great thing for our state. But I hope that individuals would take the opportunity, if you know someone who is in need of health care and healthcare services, they'll have an opportunity to sign up on this Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. There'll be navigators, assisters, and folks there to help them throughout the day. And it starts at 9 a.m., ends at 6. And I'll have the address and some more information. I don't know if we can put it on one of the signs outside for folks coming in, or if we can post something on the website. I'm not sure what the limitations for that is, but I know there is a need to get more folks signed up. The penalty is pretty hefty if you do not sign up. And I think, we're in the right direction with regards to Medicaid expansion in the state of Louisiana. That would be all for me at this time. Appreciate it.
See no one else? Next item.
President's report.
Okay, this will be my last president's report. Based upon Thursday, we have an election for a new president. But I want to thank my colleagues for allowing me the opportunity to be president. This opportunity gave me privilege to learn more about local government, both the city and the parish. We had some challenges. Started out in February with the snowstorms. Then followed that by the Red River flooding, which we hit a all-time high on that. But Caddo Parish still survived. We had some positive things that happened as well. We still maintain a AAA bond rating. We still maintain a high level of employment, that those employees love to come to work. Because if they didn't, they'll be quitting and finding somewhere else to go. We did some dedication. Just finished the dedication to Joyce Bowman the other day over for the Wall of Distinguished Service. We've actually went out and got someone to look for economic development for the parish, which is a major milestone for us. And we had an election. And in this election, it basically said that the citizens were satisfied with the ones that came back, and the ones that came that are new, it was that they wanted a change in that particular area. And so we work for the citizens. The citizens are our boss. But at the same time, everybody's district is set up a little differently. Everybody has different things that they have to have as priority in their area, and that you represent not only your district, but you represent the parish. And everything that I always said in all the forums that I went to while campaigning and while being president of this commission is to keep Caddo moving forward. We don't need to move backwards on anything, but we need to keep moving forward because as you travel outside of the limits of Caddo Parish, Caddo is a very progressive body. We're well respected, not only on the state level, but also nationally. And that we should continue that tradition and that, you know, change is good, but change need to be for the better and not for the worse. Thank you. Next item.
We have no old business. We move to new business. Zoning case P 2015 in regards to ordinance number 5558 of 2016, amending the zoning of property located in the southeast corner of Wallace Lake Road and Flournoy Lucas Road, Caddo Parish, from RA Residential Agricultural District to B2 Neighborhood Business District and R1H Urban One Family Residence District.
Move to Thursday.
Second.
And moved by Commissioner Dominic, seconded by Commissioner Lynn. Move that to Thursday.
Who's District 9?
That's me. And I'm supporting moving that to
Is that okay?
Yeah.
That passes 12-0 to move to Thursday.
Authorize the introduction of ordinance number 5559 of 2016, amending and reenacting Section 2-52 of the Caddo Parish Code of Ordinances pertaining to unclassified parish employees eligible to participate in the Caddo Parish Employees Retirement System.
Move to Thursday.
Second.
Been moved by Commissioner Jackson, seconded by Commissioner Lynn. I would like to make a substitute motion to take this to subcommittee so that the subcommittee can then bring this forward with maybe some revised statements.
Second.
Been moved by the chair, seconded by Commissioner Epperson. Let me clear the board, and then if anybody want to talk about the substitute motion.
You got it.
Okay. Commissioner Epperson, you on for the substitute motion?
Right.
Okay.
I agree with that, Commissioner Johnson. The way that we arrived at where we are now with this item, we basically perused this. We've discussed it, but first and foremost, I don't think we should delve into this because of the pending litigation. Historically, we have never addressed anything publicly or tried to act on anything while it was still within the court system. So I would ask that, for that particular reason, that you would vote in favor of the substitute motion.
Commissioner Watts.
Yes, Mr. President. That is, I think that this is a policy and procedures committee, and this should be moved back through that committee before it's out here on the floor.
Okay. Commissioner Bowman.
Yes, sir. I guess that's the question I wanted to, maybe someone can answer. Isn't it the protocol that it would go back to the committee first and then come back to the body?
That has been the tradition of the commission, instead of bringing it from the floor.
Okay.
Commissioner Atkins.
Thank you, President Johnson. I thought I heard Tom Arsenault say,
Can't talk about
Oh,
it.
yeah. That was Tom Brokaw.
yeah, sorry, thank you. I retract my desire to speak.
All right. Commissioner Jackson.
I think what John was going to say is, I think where this is right now, you know, I brought this so that we could be open and transparent and talk about this. I'd rather talk about it here as opposed to a committee. And you know, I'm open to amendments. I'm open to modifying it. I've expressed that to everybody. If you have a better idea, put it up. This legislation does not affect what happened before this new term. It basically says 2016 going forward, and the specific intent of this legislation was not to try and determine the outcome. And so I think that this, where it is, it's in the best place that it should be, as opposed to sitting in a committee. We can discuss these issues out here. If there's anything we need to hash out, let's hash it out right here. it's going to eventually get here anyway. So I don't see the need to slow roll the process. And I hear about the practices and the traditions, but I see nothing in writing. We're guided by bylaws and rules, and I see nothing in writing that says that it has to go to a committee. And so it's here following proper procedure and actually what's the written protocol, which is to propose your legislation and put it on the agenda. So I'm going to not support the substitute motion for sending it to a committee.
President, I'd like to interject a point of information. Just to clarify Mr. Jackson's statement, all committee meetings are public
That's what I was going to
and
ask.
open to the public and publicized in accordance with the transparency laws, with the sunshine laws. No committee meeting is held behind closed doors.
And the press is there too.
Commissioner Middleton.
Okay, I'm going to support Commissioner Jackson's thoughts on that. I think that we should move this further down. If we need to retract it later on, then we do so, if it needs to go to another committee after a while. But we don't have any control over the agendas for particular committees. So at this point, I'll be supporting Mr. Jackson's thought on that.
Commissioner Dominique.
Yeah, I just, first of all, I'll say I would commend Mr. Jackson for putting it up. It was a big step to step up forward as a new commissioner to do this. And we have typically sent things to committee, then sometimes we have not. In fact, if I recall, we had about a year ago or 6 months ago done something about the health insurance and went to the committee, and I don't think I've heard anything else about it. But to move this forward, and I guess one of the things that Commissioner Atkins was saying, that some of this stuff would hopefully resolve the ultimate issues that we're looking at, and I would at least be in favor of moving this forward to Thursday and then on to public hearing and see how this plays out.
Commissioner Lynn.
I've witnessed things go to committee, die, and then appear on the floor like they never died in the first place at the very next meeting. I commend Commissioner Jackson for his leadership in putting this on there. This is something that the constituents of Caddo Parish Commission District 4 have brought forth. I was going to bring it to committee. He's certainly leading the charge on doing this. I like it as written and am very comfortable with passing it as written with no changes all the way through the final read. That's all.
Commissioner Chavez.
Jackson, I appreciate you for putting this on. I don't really see any reason to go elsewhere if the group of us can decide together collectively on an issue that we should leave it the way it stands and just openly decide on it in front of the public.
Commissioner Watts.
Yes. First of all, let me address Mr. Dominique on the health issue that you're talking about 6 months ago. You said that
Seems like that. Was it health? I think it was health insurance.
Were all of the Todd, were all of the bylaws that we revised, were they not passed out to each commissioner?
The bylaws, what he's talking about, is something different.
Any corrections to anything?
They're
with health?
available, yes.
Okay, so they are available. Anything that came through that committee that I chair, I know that if there were some corrections that were outstanding, that they have been done and are available. So
That's not what I was saying. I was saying that from what I remember, it went to committee. I don't know whatever happened to it. I never saw it again.
Okay.
I don't know if the committee said don't bring it before the floor. I don't know.
Okay.
But
And the second part, I guess, is this one is for Mr. Lynn. You said that now you've had a change of heart about the CPRS program. Is that this is what you're talking about on this ordinance?
Point of order. We're not really supposed to address each other by name. Everything's supposed to go through the president.
Yeah, come on.
Yeah,
Where we gonna follow the
Question, you
rules?
made
Yeah.
a comment.
Either we are or we're not.
This is something that District 4 has spoken on, and I'm reacting to my constituents and what they desire.
Okay.
Commissioner Bowman.
I just wanted to say, the purpose of me asking for it to go to committee is not, has anything to do disrespect towards you or what you're doing. I understand, I agree. I'm just saying, I'm trying to figure out protocol, because protocol has been, that's what it was, and that's where it came out of before. And even when I've tried to bring certain things out before, some of the same persons prior to you were saying, send it back to the committee. So are we gonna, at this point, let's establish, since we're all here together, united, no, we won't always agree on everything, but we need to start following the rules of protocol, or just follow rules, period. What's good for the goose should be for the gander. Are we gonna go to committee when it's supposed to, and are we not? And the other purpose for me saying about the committee is, it's also open to the public, it's also open to the press, and that gives more time for discussion for those of people who may be out here waiting, who want to hear something else. They may not want to be held long. That's the only thing I was saying. It's nothing against what we're doing. It's just a matter of, I just need to know protocol, and I know that's what it has been. So if I'm incorrect, I want somebody here to tell me differently.
Heard that. So Commissioner Atkins.
I just want to say I'm a big believer in protocol. However, this is a very important issue for the people of Caddo Parish, and I think it's important that we move it forward and discuss it on Thursday.
Okay. That's fair.
Okay. See, I guess I'm gonna talk now since y'all done talked twice. In this particular ordinance, the reason to send it to committee is because our parish government, this commission body, works off of subcommittees. And we have multiple subcommittees, and in those subcommittees, we hash out, we vet, we make sure that what we bring to this meeting is pretty much on the agreement of a set of commissioners, not a wildcat or one person deciding to put something on the agenda, and then we have to sit here and debate it back and forth, back and forth. We try to look a little more professional, have a professional decorum in our meeting. So that's why we set up subcommittees. Now, if we're not going to do that, there's no need to have subcommittees. We can just sit here and prepare to be here for multiple hours. I'm good either way. But I just know that since I've been here 5 years, it's always, if something of this magnitude, it would go to subcommittee to be vetted, and then the public is invited, the media can come as well, and we hash things out. Come here, everybody either is supportive or against it. There's no need to amend because everybody has did the part that they want to amend. You might have a substitute motion here or there, but at the most, you can't put too many amendments onto this because it's just gonna make it look sloppy, and then Todd has to then try to keep up with all of that. It's 12 people up here. And if 12 people make an amendment here or there, you can get lost. And then that legislation will be messed up, and then we look at it again, it's not right. So send it to committee, and then that way it can be done. Come out here, at least you'll have a percentage of the body that will then either support it or be against it. That's the only thing I'm asking. Commissioner Jackson.
Mr. President, I think this would be his third go-round, and I was the second, so I would take precedence for a second.
I only had one chance to speak.
I think he talked once on the original motion and then once on.
I only spoke on the substitute motion, which was still on.
Right.
We hadn't got off the substitute motion yet.
Well,
Yeah.
And I only had one chance to speak.
okay.
Go ahead, right.
Well, and like I said, I get protocol and practices, and I'm new. And if you don't know me, I've never been one to, I respect protocol and practice, but I'm like the poet, I've kind of followed the path less taken sometimes. If we want, Attorney Frazier, do we have anything that requires this to go because you know, like the legislature, everything has to be recommended from a committee. But I didn't see anything in our written bylaws and rules and procedures that require legislation to come from committee. I don't see anything like that. And if I omitted it,
No, there's not.
and to be fair to legal, it was mentioned that some stuff was in a committee, but it never made it to the floor by the end of the year. But it was brought to my attention. And I asked legal to go ahead and draft it and put it on the agenda. I think this is an issue. I think that this is an issue that we need to discuss, and a lot of other issues, because at some point, I'll be coming to this body asking us whether we agree to vote it up or down. I don't think our meeting times are flexible enough for at least my constituents to make it and weigh in. And a lot of people, to be honest, they're intimidated sometimes to come to committee meetings and weigh in. So, you know, I like having this public forum here. I'm not here for a show, but I think this is an opportunity for us to discuss what we're trying to do, discuss what the intent is. That way, when folks are out there talking, all you have to say is go look at the video, go pull the minutes, you know. So this is not an attempt to be a wildcat. I haven't been called a wildcat since I was in middle school.
Keep on serving.
Go Linwood.
You'll hear more.
Go Linwood. But, you know, I think this is a substantive piece of legislation. And again, I'm open to amending it. I'm open to a couple of postponements. But what I don't want us to do is go take this and try to, you know, sit it in a committee, and here we are 6 months, 8 months from now, voila, here we are. Let's get it over with. And so with that, when no other questions have come about on this, I'll call for the question.
Can't call for the question, you had debate already.
Okay.
Commissioner Middleton.
I tried withdrawing that. I don't know how to do that, so scratch me.
All right, Commissioner Dominique.
I was just gonna say one more thing I forgot to mention a while ago was, I know several of you commissioners, when y'all were out knocking on doors, this was a big issue. Y'all said y'all were gonna put it up for the body. And I respect that. And again, I've been here since 2007. I've seen stuff go to committees. I've seen stuff not go to committees. Commissioner Jackson wants this on the agenda. I'll be happy to move it forward Thursday.
Commissioner Evers.
My reason for wanting this to be perused a little more is that I've noticed there may be a possibility of some ethics situations involved in here. I would have hoped that maybe some of you new people would have been at the training that was held in Baton Rouge. Also, I think I heard somebody say something about what was it, 37,000 travel? Is that in 1 year? Someone ever did a 37,000 travel in 1 year, to your knowledge, Ms. Brown?
Commission, I'm not aware.
Okay, well, I can just truthfully say to everybody that Ken Epperson has not and will not do no $37,000 for traveling a year. Okay? So, see, these are the things that we are putting out here, these little old Donald Trump type sound bites. You know what I mean? And God, we trust, but from man, we want to see it in black and white. We want some data. I can give you some data that we don't have time. I got it right here. I got everybody's travel. I got the travel prior to the 15,000 travel allowance being implemented. I got the commissioners where it spiked way up there. And I got the commissioners that have never traveled. I can give you reasons for the travel that help Caddo Parish get a rapport not only with statewide elected officials, but national officials, where we can pick up the phone and we can call Washington, D.C. with an issue that a veteran has, and we don't get a form letter or a recording. Or we can call Baton Rouge. Or if we have an issue that needs to be lobbied in Baton Rouge at the state legislature, we have friends that will coalesce with us from other parishes. You need to see this information in a sitting other than what's up here today, and let's just not do a knee-jerk reaction on something, whereas we cannot show data and reasons to our citizens as to what we're doing. That's how we reach compromise. We sit down and let us reason together. In all that you do, make sure that you get an understanding. And that's the purpose of that. All committee meetings, there are minutes. You can pull the minutes up. They're on the website. So let's do that. I'd appreciate you supporting this substitute motion.
Okay. Mr. Jackson, we only have 2 times that we can talk on a particular subject. Talk twice. See no one else? Let's vote on the substitute motion.
Can we have it read or?
Yeah, please do.
Substitute motion is to remand to the Personnel and Policy Committee.
Mr. Chavez, you want to say something before we vote?
I did. Commissioner Epperson confused me when he skipped down to here.
He did.
Oh, I'm sorry?
Yeah, it was confusing.
Are we voting to?
We vote on the
C-PERS.
C-PERS.
Okay.
Ordinance number 5959, correct?
Make sure he has a good understanding of what we're doing here, if you would.
Can I have a
I do.
point of information? Todd, can you tell us what ordinance we are? 'Cause
Ordinance number 5559,
Right. Not
Employees
that one.
Retirement System. We have a substitute motion from Mr. Johnson, seconded by Mr. Epperson, to remand that ordinance to Personnel and Policy Committee.
Let's vote. That failed 6-6.
Now we vote on the,
Now we vote on the
Original motion.
original ordinance as it is written,
to introduce.
and to introduce it to Thursday. Well, for reading for Thursday.
Let's put it on Thursday's agenda.
Bowman, Caddo.
What are we doing? Pardon my ignorance. What did we? The
original ordinance.
Correct.
Move to Thursday.
Just to
Move to
move it
Thursday.
to Thursday.
Right. Okay.
That passed 8-4.
Next, authorize the introduction of ordinance number 5560, amending and reenacting section 228 of the Caddo Parish Code of Ordinance pertaining to the compensation of commission members.
Move to Thursday.
Second.
Been moved by Commissioner Jackson and seconded by Commissioner Dominique to move Thursday. Mr. Maker, Commissioner Jackson.
I was just gonna say, we have, and Todd and Attorney Frazier, correct me if I'm wrong, we have today to move it to Thursday, then Thursday is introduced, and then we have a week in between to discuss. We have 2 weeks in between to discuss and show whatever information we need to show and share, as long as it doesn't violate the sunshine rules. But we have information that we can leave at the clerk's office if we need to share some information. And so there's plenty of time between introduction and final adoption, because these are two readers, as I understand it. Okay, so all we're doing is moving this forward. And so the idea that we're shortening the debate on it or something, I'm not understanding where that's coming from. So if I'm missing something, I would ask the new kid on the block, would somebody let me know if we're missing something.
I see what you're saying.
But there's plenty of time, I believe, to discuss this. So I would ask that we move to Thursday.
I'd like to make a motion to take this also to committee.
Second.
Moved by the chair, seconded by Commissioner Epperson. As the maker, reason I want to move it to the committee is basically there's still some discussion that needs to be done on this. And I think you can't do it based on what you have here on paper. So it needs to be in a committee meeting. The committee then can work on that, and the committee can then, based on information we got in the executive session, that can actually reword it, make it work.
Which, is this the resolution, the travel resolution?
No, it's COLA.
5560.
Okay.
Commissioner Epperson.
I concur, sir.
All right. So substitute motion, which read again.
Substitute motion to remand ordinance number 5560 to Personnel Policy Committee.
Let's vote. Chavez. That failed. 4-8. Original ordinance.
Now we vote on the original 5560.
Bowman, Chavez, Caddo.
Wait.
This is the original.
Can you-
This is the original.
To put it on Thursday's
Tell us.
agenda.
Right.
We just said it.
That's all.
Well, the mic's still on.
We're voting to authorize the introduction of ordinance number 5560.
Okay. So that's what I thought we were on.
That one there, yeah.
Right, with the COLA. Okay.
All right, take it to committee.
You need to change your vote.
Oh,
Substitute failed.
What we saying now?
we
Okay.
we need to clear the board, Mr. President. Don't do that. Okay? Okay.
Now I'm on target.
All right.
That passed
That
8
passes
to 4.
Authorize introduction of ordinance number 5561, declaring certain adjudicated properties to be surplus, and authorize the parish administrator designate to sell.
Moved by Commissioner Lynn,
Second.
seconded by Commissioner Jackson. Commissioner Jackson, you want to talk about this?
Yeah, I just have a question. Well, never mind. Robert, can we get together offline? Can we get together on this?
Sure.
Can't hear you.
I'm sorry.
Yes.
Can't hear.
I had a couple of questions about how we do our adjudicated property process, and I think you and I had kind of shared some stuff, so if we can get together, just for the interest of moving it along.
Right.
I'll try and answer him. Jimmy's sick today, but
Well, I just was wondering, when we do these, do they just automatically come to the agenda, or does the individual commissioners get to look at it, or do y'all mind running these by us?
no, we have periodically people come in, they have applications, and they fill out when we get enough to put as an ordinance. We put it on an ordinance, and I think we divide them up by district to show you where they're located and such. And then they're voted, you have to be voted surplus before we can actually sell them.
Right, but I'm saying if there was some, because I'm working with, there's a state land coalition, and then Jeff Elderson, I'm working with my city council counterparts or colleagues or counterparts on the city council, who we're working on some adjudicated property, and then there's even some state legislation that may come this year, and it comes every year dealing with adjudicated property, one trying to get the redemption period down, because we're trying to get them back to commerce a little bit faster, and we're seeing that there, somebody will come, get caught up on the taxes, then next thing you know, we're in this cycle again for the 3-year period. And so we're trying to work on some stuff and trying to make sure that, but I think it could get a little convoluted here, and if you want to get together offline, maybe.
I don't really know.
Yeah, we can do that,
Handle it
Commissioner.
statewide
That'd be
deal.
best.
Yeah,
If you can get with Jimmy.
I don't want to take this off the agenda today, but I may in future instances, I may want to either remove some or wait till they come on.
I did talk to Jimmy when you sent me that email, and he said he did not recall where someone had actually removed individual properties. Now, I think that some people had voted against the ordinance itself, but none have been removed individually.
Right, but what I'm saying is, if let's say there's a project to do some infill development or something, and let's say the Fuller Center or Community Renewal or Urban Support Agency or just any group, like in New Orleans, they put out an RFP. They put out an RFP for organizations who may want to come and develop properties, and what the city council or the metro council there will do is
we do those.
Right, that's what I'm saying. And so do we get an opportunity to look at them before they come to the agenda?
We supply the ordinance to you. That's when you'll see them.
Okay.
If you come and ask us, we'll give you a list of what's going on.
Gotcha.
And to all our commissioners, you can double click on that light blue, and it'll give you the detail.
It'll tell you where they're located, whose district they're in, everything.
I just didn't want to.
And who the applicant is.
I didn't want to be a wildcat when I came up here and asked, could I take it off? Right. I appreciate it.
Let's vote.
It's on the,
Atkins and Bowman. All right, that passes 12-0 to move to Thursday.
Authorize resolution number 6 of 2016 to approve revisions of the Housing Choice
That's why they
Voucher
don't want us to
Administrative
drink
Plan.
here.
Move to Thursday.
Moved by Commissioner Lynn,
Second.
seconded by Commissioner Dominic. See no one that wishes to speak, let's vote. Atkins.
Sorry, we had an accident on there. Technical difficulty.
12-0, that passes to Thursday.
Authorize resolution number 7, amending the rules and bylaws of the Caddo Parish Commission relative to Article 12, Rule 1, travel policy.
So moved.
Second, I'm sorry, I was in days.
Moved by Commissioner Dominic, seconded by Commissioner Jackson. As the maker of the motion, you want to say something?
No, I'll leave it up to the second.
Second, you want to say something?
Yeah, I will. I know some of the, and I reached out to everybody to ask if they had any questions, comments, or concerns about it, and a lot of the concern has been taking the price down, and I know we've gotten some figures. I believe whatever number of dollar value we put on it, folks may or may not have a problem with it. I think taking it from 15,000 to 8,000 is a reasonable number. Some folks think it should be lower. I'm open to that. Feel free to amend it. Like I say, I'm open to amendments on all of these. But I think, if we, can come here and show folks that we're doing a good job with it, I think 15 is a bit excessive from a policy point of view. And if someone has an opportunity to go somewhere else, they should bring it here or go above that amount. Bring it here and let's discuss it and go. It's just part of the public vetting process. So I think, again, no ill intent advised, not intended to disrupt the litigation that's going on as well. And again, it's for 2016 going forward. But I would ask that you support moving this to Thursday.
And I would like to make a substitute motion to take this also to committee. This one doesn't have the luxury of getting over for 2 weeks. As this will be voted on Thursday.
No. That's what it'll set over 2 weeks because of the bylaw change.
Okay.
Second.
Still want to send it to committee. As the maker of the motion, the travel policy, the history of that, we kind of talked about that a little earlier too. It has been compromised with, and maybe a dollar amount shouldn't be put in there. So I think that if you take it to committee, you can come up with the proper language that you want to put in there that includes what we need to do to be an effective commission body, and not just say come in and cut numbers and don't really have a history about the numbers that you're trying to cut. The national meeting moves around different locations, and based on those different locations, you cannot come in and say, well, let's have it at this number, and then you end up going over that amount. By the bylaws says that right now it's 15,000, that's the cutoff. There is no coming and asking for extra money. 15,000 is the cutoff. So if you scratch off the 15,000, put 8 in there, 8,000 is it. You can't go over the 8,000. So you can't go to a particular conference to represent the constituents in which you serve, based upon you cut it down to 8,000, and now you can't go, or you can't stay the whole time. You got to come back, or you go in your pocket to do it. So I think it needs to be worded the correct way if we're gonna move forward and do it. Seems like a lot of y'all are in favor of it, so at least to get the language right, so it's not a knee-jerk reaction, and that you end up having something that you got to come back and try to amend again. Commissioner Carter.
Hey, I want to speak to this amendment, or this ordinance rather. I think we need to be dealing with empirical data as opposed to reaching for what we think been the usage of these dollars. What I would like is a historical use, on average use of the 12 commissions over the last 4 years, and of the 12 commissions, what's been the average cost? And then in what year did someone go out of whack, bumped up to the 15,000, got closer to 15,000? Because if the 15,000 is just the cap, and the average person, for an example, I don't have the empirical data, is using $3,000, that may not be a need to adjust it if there's no significant, a definable identification of any type of abuse. So I want to see some historical data as to what's the average use, when someone is kind of gone out of sync. So that way we'll be making a decision based on historical data and data in terms of what people are actually doing and using for this travel.
Commissioner Epps,
I pass.
Commissioner Chavez.
I agree with Cawthorn. I'd like to see the other commissioners, where they've gone, what classes or schools to better themselves and what they spent the money on in a whole, to see is it actually needed as far as the amount of money. When we just put a cap on, say, $15,000, it gives the perception that you have to go spend $15,000 per year, or each person gets $15,000. And I'm not saying get rid of the $15,000. I think that we need to have transparency and common sense on what classes we're going to. Is it good for Caddo Parish? If it costs more than whatever the set limit is, of whatever we as a board deem that set limit is, it should be acceptable that that person should be able to go. Obviously, a high school teacher or an attorney go to two different colleges, one costing twice as much as the other one. If one of these guys on this group deem that they need to go to this school to better their constituents in their district, I think they should be able to, or afforded that opportunity. So to put a dollar amount on how much each person can spend, I think we need to look more as a whole of where are these people going, what kind of training are they bringing back to better Caddo Parish. So I definitely think we should sit down and talk about it, not just put a dollar amount, but hey, what is the goal for the 12 of us? What's the goal for Caddo Parish for our education and to better everybody? Thank you.
Commissioner Middleton.
I again applaud Commissioner Jackson for bringing this forward. I think it's a start. I think it says to the constituents that we're looking at these situations that have been raised out there. I commend those of you, such as Commissioner Epperson, that has ascended to such high offices in our nation. That's great. I appreciate that, particularly on the Veterans Affairs, as you know. But again, it is a start, and I do recognize Mr. Chavez's comments. But today, I think it is just to move it forward to Thursday. In the interim, staff can provide us all that travel information, and then we can discuss it on Thursday, whatever an amount should be, and then continue it on. We can continue it on beyond that. But I'm just saying, to move it on to Thursday, I would suggest that we go ahead and do that.
Commissioner Atkins.
I'd like to see this number changed, our travel reimbursement number changed. However, in my personal opinion, I'd like to see it come down. However, I think it is important that we work off factual data, and I think there's an opportunity to maybe put some flexibility in the ordinance where reason and logic can prevail. So for that reason, I'll be supporting the substitute motion.
Thank you. Commissioner Dominique.
I know that, again, that, some of you guys ran on this, that you look at this, it was being said, hey, we make $15,000. Obviously, we don't make $15,000. But, as it stands, you can currently travel up to $15,000. Commissioner Chavez and Cawthorn, I'm telling you, when you get these numbers, they're going to be all over the place. You're going to see, if they go back far enough, you're going to see commissioners that spend a whole lot on travel, and then you're going to see, I don't think Commissioner Epperson ever spends on travel. And Jim Smith, I don't think he's ever spent any. When I was president, I made one trip to Washington, D.C. It was $3,000. I know Commissioner Thibodeau, I don't think he went anywhere, but some of them did. I think that this figure that we have right now, $15,000, is extremely high. I think we need to come down. I think we probably need to come down below 8,000, but I think there needs to be something in there that does allow the president or someone who actually may go over the $8,000 to travel somewhere, but it would have to be a good reason, and we would have to know why and where this person was going. So at this time, I'll go ahead and support the as it is, but if it gets to committee, this hopefully will get worked out.
Commissioner Bowden. Yes, I just want to echo I applaud you, Commissioner Jackson, what you're doing. I understand what's going on too. And, I would like to support it. But I think collectively as a whole, people need to discuss about, first have our empirical data so you can see the rationale for why. Yes, we can make adjustments, but I think, would you be in favor of that after we meet and then we can fine tune it? Am I able to address him? No one knows anything today.
I mean, if in responding to your question, I want to be clear about my intent here. My intent is not to limit where anybody can go. And so I don't think this restricts where you can go. The intent was to get the number down.
Right.
From an excessive amount, because when we first came aboard and even during our interim time, what was told to me was nobody ever spent that much. Well, then why do we have it so high? And until this is worked out, until we work this out, so if it sits in committee for 3 months or 4 months, commissioners will still have a $15,000, up to $15,000 spending allowance until we work this out. This is to start the process. It's not to go on. I'll be honest with you, I don't care what folks did in the past and where they went in the past. That was not the intent that went into this. The intent of this is to make sure that we are being conscious of the number amount that's on this. If we're not spending $15,000, then why do we even have to have a cap of it? What I was told was most commissioners don't even spend no more than 4. Well, 8 is double that. And so you have a lot of room, you have a lot of ceiling in there to go. But I am open to amendments, as I've said. I'm open to amendments. I'm flexible on these things. I think we got 2 weeks to discuss them. I'm open to postponing. But what I don't want to do is to have this just sitting in a committee again.
Oh, no, I agree.
And here we are, in December with still up to $15,000 spending allowance. So, but I don't want anybody to think that my intent for any of this legislation today is a witch hunt or we going after somebody or we got some preconceived notions. I approached all of these with an open mind. That's why I continue to say I'm open to amendments, and I'm open to whatever number you feel or whatever idea you feel is best for it. Put it out there. We're here in an open meeting. We're gonna have some meetings. Put your plan out there.
Correct. And with that being said, I wasn't done. I have another question that maybe someone can help us that we're here. The reason why it was at a different number or no number prior to, so it was recently brought down to whatever the fee is now, which, as you said, no one reaches. So I'm trying to see why was it voted down voted to do it for $15,000 by some of the same persons that were here, that we were getting it to that. What was the rationale, and why couldn't we just go to $7,500 then, if that's you know what I'm saying? We just made that reduction to
right, but
a year ago.
Right, but I think the policy says we should revisit it every 2 years, and like I say, I'm open to that discussion. I tell you what,
when do we do chairperson? Because that makes a difference.
Well, I think this will go back to the point Attorney Frazier made. I will support. Sending this to committee because we are at that 2-year review period, and this was supposed to be that 2-year review period. I just want folks to know that as we discuss this in committee, we will still
move forward with it. Right, and I applaud you for that. I support you.
I believe we will still have up to $15,000 spending allowance. Correct.
Until you all vote to change that number, yes.
Okay. So I will support sending it to a committee for a study. I'm not hard on it, but
right. Thank you. We all on the same page. I just think we need more time for clarification.
Oh, yeah,
everybody be able to ask questions.
I just want folks to know that there was no preconceived notions, and I'll just state this and hush my mouth. Some folks will say we should do nothing. leave everything as it is, but you're gonna have some folks who are gonna say, you know, what we just did today is not hardly enough. So, you know, I've had folks calling me and saying all kind of crazy stuff over the weekend. I'm not here to please.
Why you're a
certain groups of
wildcat,
people.
bro.
Right.
No,
That's part of my
us are.
wildcat.
None of us.
So, you know,
you're gonna be a bobcat next week.
you know, but you know, my intent wasn't to necessarily please any interest groups or groups of people. It was to make sure that we have sound policy, one that is fair, and two that is responsible. And so, I'm more than open to send it to a committee, and we can vet it from there.
I got to get to it.
Thank you, Mr. Jackson. Commissioner Jackson.
That was all responding to Commissioner Bowman. You got the floor now.
I said it. He sucked all my lines out of me. Good strategy.
Okay.
All right, Commissioner Wildcat.
Well, you know,
That's it.
I guess I'm a little confused because, I mean, we have a lot of working committees, and they don't sit, a lot of stuff don't sit in a committee for long. Now, the committee is pretty much based upon who the chairman is, and that chairman drives that particular subcommittee. So there have been a lot of issues that have came through committee, and we brought it to the body the same day. So there's no, I don't want the public to perceive that we sit here and we put stuff in committee and it sits there and dies, or it gets put on that particular legislation, and it doesn't. There are some that's more complex that you can't just bring up the same day or even the same week. It takes some additional data to get collected to do. So it's not like Congress where it can sit in committee for years. We have a small working committee on different topics. So I just don't want people to believe that we just send stuff to committee and it just sits there and it dies. A lot of things have come through committee and come right to the body. So don't want to do that. And I also want to make sure that, you know, made the comment about making sure that we have sound policy. Well, the commissions that I sat with on for the last 5 years, I can say that there's been great debate in order to make sound policy. There's been great debate to make sure that we do the best thing for Caddo Parish in the interest of our constituents that we serve. So the policies that are in place, you know, you're always going to have change. Change is going to be welcome. Some change is not going to be welcome. But at the same time, I think that we did what we thought was best for Caddo Parish as a majority, because that's the democratic way of doing things. If it didn't get passed. So I just want to make sure that some things we say, now that, you know, you're a commissioner, it's on you too. Commissioner Atkins.
One clarification, please, Commissioner Johnson. What committee will this go to if it were go to a committee?
Policy and procedures.
And who is the chair of that committee?
The president at the time would then have a list of who's chair and who's on those. He's appoint those chairpersons and the people that go on those committees. The president committee, as it stands now, the chairperson is Commissioner Watts. So depending on the new president and who he selects as the new chairperson. So I'm assuming now that the anticipated president has made out his list for committee chairs and committee assignments, so that on the 21st he can pass it out, or the 22nd he can have it ready for you. So
thank you.
That's what I did as president. So I set the bar high. Let's vote on the substitute motion. Mr. Clerk, would you repeat it, please?
Substitute motion to remand resolution number 7, 2016 to Personnel and Policy Committee.
That passes 12-0.
Next, we have reappoint Mr. Willie Joe Green and Mr. James Robinson, Fire District Number 4.
Move to approve.
Moved by Commissioner Smith.
Second.
Seconded by, I think I heard
Commissioner Middleton.
Middleton. Okay.
Oh,
Gotta get something crafted.
okay.
Let's vote.
Mr. Jackson?
Jackson. That passes 12-0.
Next, we have consent agenda.
Oh, before we move, we all need $2.50 for Commissioner Epperson because he missed his haircut appointment. And we all owe him $25.
That was looking like
He won't want to